Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all alright. Please do forgive the fact that this is not a vlog and this is more just me sitting and chatting to you. There was a vlog for egg collection. However, I uploaded everything from my memory card onto my laptop, and when I was recording the podcast I needed space on my laptop to edit, and I was an absolute idiot and deleted everything, and then deleted everything from my recycle bin thinking I'd deleted everything I'd already used. Actually what I did was delete everything I'd already used and the egg collection video. So unfortunately, as a result, you have just kind of got me talking to you. It wasn't the best vlog anyway, so to be honest, you're not really missing out on that much. Marco wasn't allowed into my egg collection, so it was very quick. I was very conscious of the fact that the cubicles that we were in were literally, you just kind of have curtains. I could hear other people on the phone and things like that. So I was very aware of the fact that other people could hear me, which I didn't really like. It made me feel a bit awkward and a bit uncomfortable. So it wasn't the best vlog in the world anyway. So I just thought that I would do a bit of a sit down video, a bit of a catch up, and just kind of talk you through my egg collection, what I did to prepare, how it went, etc. And egg and fertilization numbers. So my egg collection, obviously the last video you saw was my trigger. So my egg collection was on the Sunday, and I think it was it Sunday the 17th? Was it Sunday the 17th? Was it a 17th? Was it? What date was it? It was Sunday the 16th. Sunday the 16th. I was close, not close enough. Obviously in my last video I had mentioned the fact that all the trains were cancelled, so that, I mean, it wasn't a nightmare, really. It was frustrating because we prefer to get the train, we prefer not to need to worry about parking or anything like that. We like to just get the train and just not have to think about anything, just get there and get back. It's also a lot quicker on the train for us. On the train it takes anything between 45 minutes to an hour depending on which train you get, whereas driving it takes us an hour and a half to get to either Stanmore or Cockfosters, and then it's a half an hour tube, thereabouts. So we did drive. Marco drove to Stanmore. We left really early in the morning, so my egg collection was at 10:30. So we left the house about 7 o'clock because I was adamant that I wanted to get there early. On a Sunday, the tubes from Stanmore were only every half an hour, so we had one, there was either one at like 8:26 that we could get, or one at like 8:56, something like that. We needed to be there for 10 o'clock, so I was like, right, I want to get the 8:26 tube from Stanmore. So that's what we did. So we got in the car, we drove down. It was a really smooth journey. We were so early. It was ridiculous how early we got there, actually. It only took us about an hour and 10 minutes. So we got the tube, and I had to be nil by mouth. So I wasn't allowed to eat after midnight, and I was allowed to drink water up until 8 o'clock in the morning. And then after that, I wasn't allowed to have anything. I was starving. And Marco had got, like, we were sat in prep because we were so early, and Marco had got himself a coffee, and then he had got himself like this chocolate pastry, and he was like, oh my god, this is so good. And honest to god, I wanted to kill him. I was sat there watching him devour this gorgeous looking buttery chocolate pastry, and I couldn't even taste it, so I sniffed it. And I would sniff his coffee, and that was it. So then we got to the clinic at 10 o'clock. And yeah, we were sat there, and at that point they'd obviously said, you know, Marco can't come in, so it'll be a case of sitting in the waiting room. They will call me in, and then they'll call Marco when they're ready for him, and then he will have to wait. So I was expected to be in there about 2 hours. As soon as we got there, I was straight in, and when I say everything was pretty much just bam, bam, bam in, it was so quick. So we were sat there I went in and I was sat on the bed. They'd given me my gown to get changed into, they'd given me some slippers. Previous egg collections, they have told me to take things like a dressing gown and a few other bits, and so I've always like packed a bag with me, and I've taken sanitary towels, I've taken my dressing gown, I've taken my own slippers, I've taken snacks for afterwards, whereas this time I didn't do any of that. I wasn't told to do any of that, so I literally didn't take anything with me except my water bottle. I did take a sanitary pad, and what else did I take? A sanitary pad, some paracetamol in case I needed it afterwards, and some snacks. I took a packet of crisps with me and some biscuits, I think. But yeah, I got there, like I say, I got changed into the gown. They then came in and went through like my allergies and filled out the form. Like you do when you go in for any procedure, any allergies, kind of confirm my name, my date of birth, what I've eaten, what medication I'd taken, etc, etc, etc. So I had gone in, went through all of that. That nurse then left, and then within 5 minutes the anaesthetist was there, and the anaesthetist was going through what they were going to do and how they were going to go about things. Again, went through whether or not I'd been nil by mouth, how it was going to feel, how I should feel afterwards. And the consultant also came in and went through kind of what can possibly go wrong, what will happen if I start to come round from the anaesthetic, in what circumstances I would need to go into general anaesthetic rather than local. They were so thorough, like I felt like I knew everything, and every possible outcome was given to me. So that was that. They had spoken, they had spoken about the fact that obviously I had had fluid found on my womb at the last scan, like I discussed in the trigger video. So there was some fluid on my womb, so they said that they'd just confirm whether or not they could still see that, but that everything should be fine and I should be in and out fairly quickly, and then once I can go to the toilet I'm free to go. So they made me go to the toilet again just to make sure that my bladder was completely empty, which I did, fine, no problem, and then I was in. So I was literally 10:30 on the dot, I was in. Now, I love general anaesthetic. I love general anaesthetic, I love local anaesthetic, I love anything that sends me to sleep, and it was wonderful. And I remember being in this room, and obviously you've got to prop your legs up on the stirrup, so I'm sat there pretty much displaying everything. Lovely nurse who was stood there going, you know, we'll make sure that you're covered, I'll make sure that nobody can see anything, blah, 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 blah. And then they put the mask on me, and I'd got, had they put a catheter in my hand? I can't remember now. I can't remember, but I remember them putting the mask over, and I always think it just smells like vanilla milkshake. And I remember the anaesthetist talking to me, and I just remember laying there and just like, oh, I'm getting a bit dizzy now, and you can feel yourself kind of dropping off. And then I was out, and that was it. And the next thing I knew, I was waking up. I felt bloody marvellous when I woke up, I have to say. I have always woken up from egg collections feeling really sore, really groggy, really been in quite a lot of pain. I've been very bloated, I've been bleeding a lot, whereas this time I woke up and I was like, am I done? And I was like, am I done? And the nurse was there and she was like, yeah, you're okay, like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. And she was like, take your time sitting up, and I was like, okay. And up I was sat up, and she said, do you want a cup of tea? I was like, I could murder one. So she went and made me a cup of tea. She brought me some biscuits, which I have to say, their biscuit selection was elite. Like absolutely elite. It was a superior biscuit collection. I had Viennese whirls, I had some kind of like butterscotch cookie thing, and then triple chocolate cookies, and it was incredible, and I smashed them, except the Viennese whirls. I did put them in my bag and took them home for later. And yeah, and then she got my water for me, so I was drinking that, and I was absolutely fine. And within about 10-15 minutes I'd got up, I'd gone to the toilet, and I came back. And like I say, I've never ever been like that after egg collection. I've never come round and felt perfectly fine, whereas I was really like, I feel good as gold. There is nothing untoward here whatsoever. I honestly just feel like I've had a sleep. So that was great. I was a little bit sore, but only really when I was walking. Other than that, I felt absolutely fine. So I'm not sure that's a really common thing. I think more often than not, you will experience a bit of discomfort. Like I say, two out of 3 occasions I have. But I felt absolutely fine. So then I had to wait for the consultant. I texted Marco and said, you know, I'm awake, everything was fine as far as I'm concerned, waiting to hear from them with regards to how many eggs. So yeah, so I sat there waiting, and I think I was waiting for about 15 minutes or so. And then she came in, and the consultant said, okay, like, how are you feeling? Blah, 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 blah. She said, there is still a bit of fluid on your womb. She said, it is only a small amount, but hopefully when you start the progesterone, that will balance itself out, because effectively my estrogen was just a bit too high, and so hopefully the progesterone will balance it out. And I was on a lot of progesterone after my egg collection. So my prescription, I was on Lentigest, which is an injection. I was on, so there's Lentigest 3 times a week, which is an injection in my bum, which Marco does. There is, I'm trying to think now, Jesus Christ. Oh, I was on a vaginal gel, which is twice a day. Prognova, which is a tablet, which I was taking 3 times a day. Utrogestin, which I was taking twice a day, and then still my blood thinners and my aspirin. So they were hopeful that it would level itself out, which was great. Egg-wise, so previously our first egg collection, we got 6 eggs, I think, 6 or 7. I want to say 6. And only 2 fertilised and none made it, so we didn't make it to transfer. None of them made it to day 5. The second time we got 10 eggs, 7 of which were mature, 5 of which fertilised, and 1 of which made it as an embryo to day 5, which was very poor quality and was transferred and obviously didn't work. This time, obviously, I was saying to you in my last vlog that I'd had a lot of follicles. This time I got 17 eggs, which was madness. And when she told me that, I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. I could not believe that we had got 17 eggs. Like, that is ridiculous numbers for us. And I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. So yeah, it was really surprising. We really couldn't believe it, but I was over the moon with that. So obviously then I left and I told Marco how many eggs we'd got, and he was also over the moon. We really couldn't believe that we'd got that. But to us, it just, obviously at that point we didn't know the quality, we didn't know if they were very good. You know, we didn't know how many of those were mature, but we felt hopeful because we'd left that egg collection thinking, okay, this is so, we were like, okay, we'll be happy with 10, we'll be happy if we can match last time but get more fertilised. So the fact that we got 17 eggs, we were like, okay, this gives us a better chance, and if more of them are mature, then again, that gives us a really good chance. So the next day, oh well, I mean, I ate, I ate my food, I went home, we got home, and like I say, we were on cloud 9, and then the next day they called us to tell us how many were mature and how many had fertilised. And we had got 15 of the 17 that were mature, and out of those 15, 7 fertilised. So I'm not gonna lie, we were a little bit disappointed with 7, and 7 is a good number, and now I think that we were perhaps, our expectations were a bit too high. I mean, you expect about 50 to 80% to fertilise, and we were slightly under that. So we were a bit disappointed. We had, when we'd got 17 eggs, we were hoping that, you know, we'd have about 9 that had fertilised. But yeah, we got 7. So our train of thought after that was, okay, let's see how many we can get to day 3, and hope for the best, because obviously, you know, you expect about a 50% drop off. And day 3 is where things start to go wrong for us. I'm not going to go into what happened after that, as I do still have the footage for that. So I am gonna, next week will be kind of the days in between, and the following days and what happened then. But that for us was, yeah, we were, like I say, we were a bit disappointed, but in hindsight, I think we're wrong to be. And to be honest, by the end of the day, we were feeling much better about it, and we were like, okay, look, we've got 7 chances here. And hopefully, you know, we were really hopeful that the work that we'd done with Dr. Ramsey and the urologist, making sure that Marco's sperm had improved, that the 7 that we did have would hopefully develop, and that hopefully as of day 3, they wouldn't all drop off. And you know, and that it would be okay. And so we started to feel really hopeful about that, and I think it was really, really key that we kept that mindset, and that we stayed in that positive mindset, and that we knew, you know, I don't like the narrative of it only takes 1, because yes, it does only take 1, but with our history, you're lucky if we get 1. So to us, we were like, okay, we just want as many as possible to give us the best chance. And so that is when I started to get a little bit nervous, I think, and where my mindset had changed. And that was where my anxieties increased. And I do think, you know, you'll see in next week's vlog, and you'll see like all of that, but I do think I was still relatively calm, and it was the best I'd ever been during those few days, but I was still so anxious. And like I say, you know, 7 we were really happy with, but we'd have, I think, just felt a little bit better if we'd have had more numbers, as I think we'd have just felt a little bit more reassurance. Like, you know, at the end of the day, we lost 8 potential embryos, and this clinic, you know, they were really good in the sense that they told us why, and they kind of monitored the fertilization, and 5 of them, there was a gene missing from one of the profiles, so either on my side or Marco's side there was something missing, which meant that they just didn't even interact, and that was it. And then the other 3 just didn't want to know each other, really. They just didn't fertilize. There was nothing wrong, they just didn't really. So that's where we were at by this point. So we had 7 fertilized embryos, and yeah, that was success to us. That was the most fertilized embryos we'd had, by quite a lot. And yeah, so that's where we were at. So I'm gonna end this video here, and then, like I say, next week will be the vlog of the following days. I'm not going to say anything else, but of the following days, and yeah, and then obviously the week after that. You know, things are just progressing, and I do just want to say I really appreciate your patience with these videos. I have been taking a bit of a break on Instagram. I haven't really been on Instagram at all through this cycle. My content has been rather sporadic. I haven't been on there very regularly at all, and I know that, you know, a lot of you have been messaging me to check in and make sure that I'm okay, and I do appreciate that. I have needed to take the time away from Instagram for my own sanity, in all honesty, because I have surrounded myself with IVF for so long, and I have been consumed by it for so long, that actually going through this cycle, I needed to be away from it, and I needed to only focus on my own cycle and my own emotions. And I couldn't deal with seeing other people's cycles and comparing and looking at people I follow and their cycles, and I'd go through their highlights and have a look at, you know, their numbers and things like that. Like, I couldn't do that to myself, and I couldn't, you know, we only told a few people initially that we were even doing it, and I couldn't really hold much of a conversation about it, and still can't, to be honest. I still struggle to talk about it really openly. Like, I just needed this cycle to be a bit more private, and yeah, it was definitely the right decision for us, but I just want to say that I do really appreciate your patience, as I know that this does seem a little bit dragged out, but doing it weekly and just doing it bit by bit has just been better for me, and better for me to kind of cope with each stage, and process everything that has gone on. So it has really helped me. So it's helped me feel less pressure, which has been really important. So I do really apologise that I'm dragging this out, but like I say, I think it's the best way for me to do it, and I think Marco and I just value our privacy a little bit more this time. And it's definitely been the right decision for us. Oh dear. It's definitely been the right decision for us. So yeah, thank you for your patience on that, and for all your lovely messages, and for all your support the whole way through it. I really, really do appreciate it. And whilst I have been there in the background, reading your messages has been such a lovely support. So thank you. But yeah, like I say, I am going to end this vlog here. It's about time I make myself some dinner, and yeah, I promise not to delete any more footage. And the vlogs going forward will be actual vlogs. So yeah, so I will see you next Sunday for another video. If you haven't already, please do make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and yeah, thanks very much. Take care.